Hello and welcome to another beautiful episode of Softline. I'm Nancy Banigo and I have with me today Eddie Jong Eyang. Eddie, how are you doing?
Nancy, that says to amaze me. Eddie Jong Eyang.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, how you doing?
That's my
Looking
name,
all radiant in
actually.
yellow.
Yeah,
I like
complimenting your own color, black
Yeah.
and striped blue. Hello, everyone. How are you today? It's nice to have you out there watching us, and trust us, we're going to do justice to our program. It's going to be soft, interesting, educative, informative,
And entertaining.
and entertaining.
Yeah. Woohoo! All right, Eddie. So what's trending? What's trending? We don't want to talk about Miss Comfort MSN, right? Let's allow that rest for now, even though that's what's trending, the whole dimension to the whole story. You know, people coming out with testimonies, people coming out saying they sat next to her, talking about the whole thing. At least now we know something triggered her. Something triggered the whole drama.
Even if the people, sat on top of her, that's not what I'm after.
Yeah.
I salute most especially the courage and critical decision and making proactiveness of the Minister Aviation.
Okay.
Minister.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because
even though some persons say when it was Shomoli's time, there was no quick response. You know, so why is it so quick
well,
this time?
people will always talk.
Okay.
Now, you won't. The Oshomola's own wasn't as controversial.
Oshomole and then Kwam one.
And
you know,
Kwam, it wasn't as controversial
as this one, right?
So you see, my problem is people will talk. You know, they've said all sorts. Kwam one has been given an ambassador for
good manners in the airport, good behaviors in the airport.
Exactly, and the other. So people, people will talk. You know, so
People
there's
will talk.
nothing you would do. There's no decision you will take that will not meet criticism. So the important thing is ability to know exactly what you were aiming at, and then you hold on to it.
Okay, so my take on this whole issue before we move to our discussion is that we Nigerians are so quick to jumping into conclusion. Sometimes what we see, it's not really what it looks like. You know, we tend to be so judgmental. We tend to react to things we see without taking critical look at the situation.
You know?
Absolutely. So now I'm sure some people who made videos like Daddy Freeze, who was one of the first persons to make videos when this thing broke. You know, he had come back now to retract his first video, to say he's sorry. You know, so we need to learn to
Don't be in a hurry.
Yeah, to
make investigations.
There were so many judgments.
Inquiries.
There were so many backlash
Have
on
a
this human being.
Hearing
Absolutely.
Before you come up with your opinion.
Absolutely. All right, so let's drop that now. What's another trending issue is the one of people coming out to call out their local government chairmen, their governors. You know, people coming out showing back, especially in Delta State. I've seen so many videos about Delta State, bad roads and all that. People are literally calling out their senators, their local government chairman, you know, holding them by the horn, like, you are supposed to do this. Why are you not doing this? I think this is the right way to go.
Exactly.
If everybody in their local government could bring out those things that are supposed to be done, that are not done, and we know these people have the money to do this thing. By the time we begin to have these videos coming out, calling these people out, man, Nigeria will change.
So you see, I think things happen, people predict things, and it seems like it's going to take forever. People have reached their limits, like they've been stretched. You know, they have been stretched, and they're saying no more. Enough is enough. And I hope that our leaders read this body language before it gets to, you know, when they said there'll be a revolution.
Yeah.
This is how it starts.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful. We have to be attentive.
Absolutely.
And we need to also be proactive. Government needs to be proactive in their decision. Not just government. You and I, we have a part to play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because if we are given a position of responsibility, let's make sure we do it well. If you're asked to serve diligently.
Absolutely.
Serve people.
Absolutely.
You know, exactly. So even from our homes to the marketplaces, you know, so each and every one of us, this call is for each and every one of us.
Absolutely. And then talking about when these things are being said, the right thing to do is to investigate and do the needful and not threatening, because we've seen a whole lot of threats. You know, somebody who made a video from Delta State, one of them, I've forgotten his name, he came back to make another video that he's been threatened because of the video he made. I mean, that's not how to do these things. We could see the video, it's real. So the best thing whoever is in charge should do is to look into the matter, say he's sorry, and do the right thing instead of threatening this person for coming out to call him out. I mean,
the poor man may not even know what you're talking about. So it could be his fans doing this.
No, but he came out to call out to say that the chairman of the local government or whoever was threatening, came to his house.
So that's what I'm saying.
You know,
it's unverified because when he came out to say this, whoever is threatening him could be speaking on behalf. It could just be one fan, one follower that wants, you know, recognition somewhere. So the poor man that is the chairman in question doesn't even know what's happening.
Yeah, so it's an open suggestion. No need for threat or anything. It's just for us to do what is right. I mean, we've come to that level. Our president is doing so much. I mean, dishing out these funds to states and local governments. They should do the right thing. I mean, what do you think? They should do the right thing.
Of course.
All right, so we'll go on a short break before we allow our emotion to take over the whole thing. So today we are tackling a topic that is essential for half the population. When I say half the population, don't worry, you understand as the show goes on. Yet often it's shrouded in stigma and silence. Menstrual hygiene. Let's break the taboo and have an open conversation about period, health, and empowerment. So joining us for this crucial discussion is Akwaowo Akpan. Akwaowo Akpan is a reproductive health educator. So let's dive into it. Akwaowo Akpan, right?
Yeah, Akwaowo Akpan.
Akwaowo, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Welcome. You know, at first when what came to my mind is a male talking about menstrual hygiene.
That was the same
what
thing.
experience does he have about menses?
But do you know one thing? You know what they say? The opposite sex tend to do better at a job people perceive should be done by a particular sex. Like if it's a woman thing, men do it better. Well, it's open for proving.
He's even laughing. So
it's open for proving. All right, so just like we are confused why having a male in this, let's ask you, how? I mean, why? Why this? Why an advocate for menstrual hygiene? And what is it you tend to achieve with this whole advocate thing?
All right, thank you so much, Nancy.
You're
so
welcome.
it's something that I've come to expect, that oftentimes when I'm in spaces like this, people ask a question. I think started way back when I decided to become a nurse.
Okay.
There's always a question. Why a nurse? Why not a doctor? Males are doctors, females are nurses, and the rest of the thing. Well, here am I. But when it comes to menstruation, I think I have a sentiment about it. Coming from a female sibling family. I have like 7 female siblings.
Really?
Now I see.
So I've been around menstruation all my life.
Now I understand.
At every point in my life, I have like 3 to 4 menstruating women around me.
Oh, goodness.
At every single point in time. So as a toddler to even now, we still have people menstruating around me. So I've seen it firsthand. I've not experienced it, but I've seen it firsthand.
Understand.
So I've seen it.
I'm not sure what to experience.
So I've seen it across all spectrums.
Okay.
From people who are menstruating and it doesn't look like anything is happening, it's every day, to people that menstruate and
it looks like
it disrupts the activities of daily living. So I've seen it. And I feel that people don't tend to understand this. I've been out, I've interacted with people, and then you hear things like, what's menstruation? This is especially for people who are not around it. So what's menstruation? Is it because you are menstruating, you are doing like this and all of these things? So I feel people don't understand it. So it's only through advocacy and people having knowledge about a thing that they can actually understand it. And that's why I do what I do.
That's nice.
Okay, very nice, I understand. But anyway, let's just leave that.
So you know, he said people ask what's menstruation.
Yeah.
And let's take it from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when people ask what's menstruation, it's not like they don't know what's menstruation, but
what's the big deal?
yeah, what's the
it?
big deal about it?
Okay.
You know. So we come from a climate where we hear things like, "You're not the first person. My mom was here, my sister was here. I've seen many women before you came up."
So let's take it from that angle. What are those challenges, those experiences that people have that it's so different that you shouldn't compare your experience to this other person, because this other person's own could be very extreme and yours could be very mild. So those...
Okay, so the first thing is that just like almost every human experience, menstruation differs from persons to persons. So whether yours is painful, maybe it's not painful, it would differ with the next person. So even parents do this. So I've seen moms say, I menstruated before you, like talking to their daughter. So I didn't need to call up. I still had to go to the farm. I still had to go fetch water and the rest of the thing. So why are you doing like you're the first person? You get. So it differs from persons to person. And now this cut across a whole range of reasons. So menstruation is influenced by hormones. The amount of hormones you secrete and the one I secrete, or two women secrete, differs. And we also have what we call pain threshold, the way people feel pain, for example. So there are people that just a little pinch and they're shouting. There are people you pinch and you hold and it doesn't really feel like a thing. So that's the same way people react to the pain that comes with menstruation, differing from one person to the other. So those are the things that people need to put in context. And also, we look at the fact that there are even beyond biological things. We have like cultural influences. There's certain culture that don't show pain.
Yeah. No matter
what happens. So even if it's painful, they won't show it. So let's say I come from such a culture and I come down here and somebody's showing pain. I'm like, what is this? So people tend to get all this misunderstanding. The way people were brought up. So I've seen guys come and be like, I come from a family, I have sisters, they don't show pain. So why are you showing pain? So from there, you take your own personal experiences, maybe from your family, you bring it to the workplace, you bring it to the school, you take it on social media, you take it on the street, and that's how the whole issue comes up.
And but then, you know, even though I like your perspective, you know, people have different ways to bear pains and all that. But coming to mothers, I'm talking about mothers now. You know, we tend to want to make our daughters strong, right? So even though we know that pain might not be there, you know, this generation normally or naturally, the way they exaggerate things these days, you begin to think, is it the same thing or is it something else? So most mothers want their daughters to be strong. Because I know mothers who want to give that excuse like, yeah, we say after I've been menstruating, so what is the big deal about menstruation? So it's not coming from a place of hatred. It's coming from a place of trying to make their daughters strong. You need to learn how to, you know, manage the pain. You don't have to go all out because you are menstruating. So I understand that aspect of mothers, you know, talking about what is the big deal about menstruation. Okay, that being said.
So let me just chip in into the aspect of the mothers. So it's one thing to be sincere, but you can be sincere and also wrong. So when it comes to clinical sciences, pain is something that only I can tell you. It's only I that can tell you I'm feeling pains. Now, you may tell me that you had the same wound at the same spot and the rest, but it's only I that can tell you how painful it is.
Because you're the one feeling
it. So when it comes to trying to build resilience, because there's a thing about building resilience, I think it should be to the limit to which the person can take it. Yeah, that's how it should be. So if you're trying to, and your daughter is like, I can't move or I can't stand up, I know you want her to be able to stand up. Sometimes she may not have the luxury to be able to relax, but then sometimes you still also need to pardon her. I know she can build resilience.
All right, I agree with you, but I know lots of persons will disagree with this. But let's go straight to the discussion because see the time already. Let's talk about some of the misconceptions about menstruation.
When you talk misconceptions, based on what we've discussed, I'm thinking, what causes those pains?
What causes those pains?
Yeah, the triggers. Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to the pain, personally, there's something in the body called prostaglandins. So it reacts to all the changes that happen during the period of menstruation. So these prostaglandins affects the nerves, these nerves that pick up the sensory. So now, when this nerve picks it up, like I said, we talk about the pain threshold. So if the nerve picks it up, the way I feel it may not be the way you feel it. And now all this has to, because the prostaglandins has to work for contraction to happen. It's a contraction that pushes out the menstrual blood. So that's how it happens.
All right, so let's talk about misconceptions. What are those ones you've heard? You know, you said you grew up in the midst of girls and all that. What are those misconceptions you've heard about and you would like to debunk? Okay,
so I think the first one I heard while I was growing up was the fact that if you have access to the menstrual blood itself, it makes you barren. So I was a kid, I was playing around, and so somebody disposed bad inappropriately, by the way. So there were some animals foraging around. So they were like, don't allow that goat to get to that place.
Yeah,
if it tested it, it becomes infertile. So although they didn't say it to me directly,
Yeah.
I took it as a thing for myself that everything that has to do with pads and period blood, I avoid it. So sometimes, growing up in a family like that, we had to share bathroom. I come into the bathroom and I see maybe a pad, I'm off. I'm not using that bathroom. That's for you. So I think that is something there. And also there is the issue of, I think this one is quite common, that
Okay.
period blood is dirty. This is very, very common, that period blood is dirty.
But is it dirty?
No, it's not dirty.
Okay, could you explain?
So when we say period blood is not dirty, period blood is the same blood that flows in your vein.
Oh.
Now we realize that when blood comes outside, it becomes contaminated. In fact, if anything comes out of your body, it becomes contaminated. But that doesn't mean that the actual thing itself is dirty. In fact, in some places, they use the tissues and the blood from the period. Don't forget that this period blood is made up of, one of its composition is the byproduct of the egg.
Okay.
Right, so it contains genetic material. So some of them are used for scientific findings. They take it, go to the lab, use it for scientific findings in certain labs if they want to use it.
Okay.
So they can generate stem cells from it because that's like the basic cells.
Okay.
So it is not actually dirty, but people feel that it is.
Okay.
So that is, because I think that is the core of almost all the misconception we have. So it's from that core that we have a woman that is menstruating should not cook, a woman that is menstruating should not get into places people are, just because they feel that
It's dirty.
there is dirty.
Okay, so I was thinking maybe that's clinically. So is any spiritual, yeah, we
Okay,
hear those
okay,
things.
so-
Social and cultural practices, like you mentioned earlier.
Okay, so
That's some myths
there'll
there.
always be spiritual and social myth.
Okay.
Now, those has to do with people's belief system.
Beliefs, yeah.
Now, I am not here to fault anybody's belief system. It's valid to you as it is.
Exactly.
So, because you see people, when I talk to people and they like, my culture or my traditions or my religious belief says I shouldn't do this, for example, that's valid for you. But I'm just talking here purely like medical as it goes, that it is not dirty. If your spiritual belief, if your cultural belief holds it that it is dirty, that's only valid to you. And I feel that people should also not project it
Okay.
to the next person. It's your belief, it's your belief. You can hold on to your belief.
Okay, so talking about the hygiene aspect of it now,
Okay.
beyond apart from the pad, okay, the different materials. Let's assume we don't know what
okay.
are those different materials one can use during.
All right, so we have
menstruation.
pads, the disposable pads and the reusable pads. I think the disposable ones are quite very common, but due to issues with the environment, ecology, there is a fast rising reusable product. So there is pads, then there is tampons, both the disposable and the reusable tampons. There's menstrual cup. It's made from medical grade silicone and rubber. It's reusable. Then there is menstrual pants.
Okay.
So menstrual pants is a modified pants, just pants normally, but it's modified and has a padding, and it's reusable,
Okay.
right? So that you can reuse it over time. So that's just basically the ones that we have.
okay.
Is there anyone that is better than any
Any other one?
yeah.
Okay.
So they have their pros and cons,
Okay.
as the case may be. So if we're looking at, okay, for example, pad. Pad is well known. Almost, you ask
That's
somebody,
common,
yeah,
yeah.
very
What's
common.
common,
So
yeah.
even common to find. Tampons is convenient.
Okay.
Yeah, so because you can still use it. If you're using pad, you can swim. You can still use it. You can swim. For people now that feel that they can't go, they shouldn't go with pants, you can use tampons without using pants even when you're menstruating. So it's quite convenient for people. Cups, it's mostly cost effective because a cup you buy, depends on the one you're buying, can last you for like 5 years. So you keep reusing it. So it just depends on the pros and cons of what really you're trying to do. So if you're looking for convenience, it could be tampon. If you're looking for cost effectiveness, it could be cup. If it's ease of use and commonness, it
Okay.
could be pads.
Okay. Now talking about cost effective, because that is where I am going to. As in, let's talk about access to having this menstrual hygiene products. We know the cost of pad now. It's somewhere
Yeah,
else.
it's fast rising.
Now, lot of persons are talking about improvisation, like improvising different ways of going through your menstruation period without causing harm to yourself. So I don't know if you have come across any of those, apart from this menstrual products you've mentioned now, if there are other ones that are not so common and are not so expensive that one can easily, get access to, if you don't have a pad.
Okay, so
Or if you don't have money to get a pad.
all right, so the three most common thing people use, aside from those ones you mentioned, are tissues, cotton wool, or clothes,
Okay.
rags. Let me put it that way. So cotton wool is a no-no because it chips off, and any foreign body that chips off into the vagina is a problem.
Okay.
Same with tissue.
Okay.
Now, in some places, it's not ideal, but
Okay.
clothes can be used, but you need to make sure that strictly you wash it and you sun dry it.
Okay.
Right. So those are what the common thing, and that's why we're having the rise in reusable pads
Okay.
now, because these reusable pads are using materials around us, and it can be used instead of the disposable pads. It's something that it's really being pushed around now.
Yeah.
Because you go to the rural community, you're doing an outreach, and then you present disposable pads. In 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, the pads are done, and you may not come back. So what happens to the ladies in that community? So instead of that, we're pushing reusable pads
Okay.
that are eco-friendly and also preferably can even be thought and can be manufactured around the environment, and that can be used.
All right. So how much do you push this into communities? Like, how do you create your awareness? What do you do? Like, is it just what you're doing now, or you go to schools?
Okay,
go to communities to
so for now,
educate them?
I am a media volunteer, media champion with Population Service International Nigeria. I'm
Okay.
currently doing a program, Menstrual Hygiene, no wahala.
Oh.
So basically, for now, it's more of advocacy. So advocacy across all board, media like on TV, on radio, social media, even partnering with artists. I think they partnered with Yemi Alade.
Okay.
So we're pushing this advocacy to raise information, but we still have people in the community and even in schools. We have community champions, there are school champions. So we teach this thing across all board. Our community champions now move to go into religious organizations,
Okay.
church, mosque, or traditional organizations in their society to push this information across to them and for them to know, and also to support where it is necessary. So as part of where we're trying to go, hopefully, we're trying to see how sustainable it could be. Maybe get across to people around that locality, like I talked about. It's not just about coming to present, but for you to empower the people around that community that they can make available menstrual hygiene products,
Okay.
in terms of most especially reusable products that they can use around the community.
All right.
So still talking hygiene, what are those basic things one should expect or a person menstruating should do?
Okay, so I think the hygiene around there are two parts: the hygiene around the menstruation, and then your own personal hygiene.
Okay.
So for the hygiene with menstruation, it has to be that cleanliness when you're changing your product. So if when changing, you need to wash your hands, because sometimes your hands may get access to your reproductive organs. So it's essential that you wash your hands, and then also you need to change those products.
Okay.
So it's ideally 4 to 6 hours, but max 8 hours.
Okay.
So you're using tampons, you're using pads, you're using cups. You need to change it.
Okay.
It's essential.
4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6 hours ideally, but at max it should be 8
8
hours.
hours,
So
okay.
you get it off, because I think this is also more essential, especially for the hygiene product that are insertables, tampons, cups, because people are more likely to forget it, unlike pads.
Okay.
So you need to know it and to change it is very, very essential. And then also to realize that at that time of the month, that your body is undergoing changes. So generally you should have a good personal hygiene, but at that point you should up it.
All
So in
right.
terms of having regular bath and the rest.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll go on a very short break, and we'll be right back to continue with the discussion. Stay with us. All right, thanks for being there. So we still have Nurse Akwaowo in the studio with us talking about menstrual hygiene. Let's quickly take some tweets to see if we can have more information on the menstrual hygiene. We have this one from Slim, and she says, please ladies, try as much as possible to change sanitary pad at least twice a day. I know it's not cheap, but prevention is better than cure. Prolonged usage of same pad can cause infection, in which treatments or treating will cost a lot of money and time. And then the next one, she said, sanitary pads have become so expensive in Nigeria that some women are now resorting to using old wrappers as makeshift sanitary protections. This is a crisis no one is talking about, but it's affecting the health of countless women every day. And then our next tweet said, menstruation is more than just bleeding. It involves back pain, chest discomfort, bloating, dry skin, acne, cramps, mood swing, and emotional ups and downs. And the last one we have here says, tips to improve your menstrual cycle. One, no coffee 1 week before. Eat dark chocolates, have banana during bleed, use period panties or cups, sip raspberry leaf tea or prep womb. Keep womb warm, warm socks, slippers, bundle up, and eat warm food. Okay. I think this varies with individuals, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but I know of dark chocolate, right?
Yeah.
But the no coffee before 1 week before, I've never heard of that one before. Is it clinically proven?
So it's on the basis of caffeine,
Okay.
available in coffee, same caffeine available in carbonated drinks. So now, in as much as those affect a lot of people, there's still people it doesn't affect. Right, that people it doesn't affect.
Okay.
But then it's to be on the safe side, because the effect of what caffeine does to, I talked about prostaglandins when we started, so
Okay, yeah.
it could amp up the pain. So to be on the safe side, you have to be on the safe side.
Okay, so to be on the safe side, probably you should list out some of those things apart from what she had mentioned here. Some of those food,
Yeah, so
women should stay off during menstruation.
So what we would call processed food, or like junks, like sugary foods.
But
Also,
you know that's the period when those things, you want to eat a whole lot of sweet things.
yeah, you want to eat.
I think it varies from individual.
Now, some people feel like
Okay.
to eat. Now, I talked about what prostaglandins does. It helps in the contraction. Your body is trying to push out something. So
Okay.
it's going to push as much as it can, anything. Because if you eat it and it amps it up, it means that your contraction is more severe. That's what brings the pain.
Oh.
So
Okay.
the more severe it is, most likely the more faster it sheds off. So that is why your body gives you that urge to get the sweet things. But for the pain's sake, it's better that you avoid it. I feel that if people track their period, one that is very much on people tracking their period because of how personalized, if I should say so, it is from person to person.
Okay.
So if you track your period, you know how yours works. So I know somebody that if she takes carbonated drinks, she's already telling you, like, by the end of this month, it's gonna be very serious. So you track your period and you know yourself, because this thing is not like one rule covers for everybody. So if you know yourself, it's very, very easy. It's very, very easy for you. But I also commend her for talking about warmth.
Yeah.
Right. So it helps,
Okay.
especially using warm compress. Now another thing is the issue of drugs. Right. Drug is not fully ruled out, because it's like every other form of pain. People take drugs for headache, which is a form of pain. But then it shouldn't be something that you should be. It's more advisable to go to non-pharmacological routes, because the more you take drugs, the more your body becomes used to it. And we're looking at you building a tolerance. That's what we're trying to avoid. So drugs should not always be your go-to thing. So find things that don't relate to drugs. We've talked about diet. We've talked about using warm pads. So we have warm water bottles. Now we have menstrual belts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm just hearing that.
Rechargeable menstrual belt.
What does that do?
So what it does is it helps to massage and also helps to warm the abdomen.
Oh.
So like she talked about
Reduces
waist
the
pain.
pain.
Yeah, it reduces the pain. Like she talked about the waist pain. So if you can put one here and put one at the back to help with the waist and the back pain. So we have all of these things
Okay.
that you can actually use. And then I think people should also take it easy on themselves, especially for the mood swings and the emotional aspect of it.
Is that
Ju-
controllable?
It's not controllable. It's controllable. You can control your emotions, right? You may not be able to control how you feel, but you control how you act
How
out.
you react.
Yes, because I know that I'll say this for many men out there. The women in our life have used mood swing. So I hear this a whole lot.
Oh my goodness.
So when I'm talking about menstruation, people like hammer on this because of mood swing. She will not kill me because of you get it? So yes, we know that feelings happen, but please try to control how you act out on those feelings.
You know, going that route now, let's now talk about the role men and boys play, you know, in helping this menstrual thing. What do you think they can do, you know?
Okay, so
it's a good thing you're in the field, right? But
for people who are not in the field, so first is knowledge. I don't think people will appreciate what they don't know.
Exactly.
That's when people don't understand things, it brings a whole lot of confusion.
Absolutely.
So what is this you are doing? What is even this menstruation and the rest of the things that they say? So first is the knowledge. I think as a man, knowing that there'll always be women around you, you may not come from a family with women, but you may have a woman in your life. It's part of the thing to know about this. It's a core part of every woman's life. It should be a core part of every woman's life. So you should know about it.
Okay.
Just like you're looking to know our favorite color and our best food. These are the kind of things that you should know. And then I talked about the whole tracking. I think it's a thing of bonding for you to help your woman track her period. In fact, it even helps you to prepare. So if she's somebody with mood swings, and depending on how severe the mood is, you can start to, you know, plan yourself towards that point.
But no, now what help can they give, or what's when we talk about menstrual hygiene, the role the men and the boys play in helping with menstrual hygiene?
Majorly being supportive. So by supportive, by providing the productive that can.
Okay.
So I have this menstrual bag. Bag.
Oh,
yeah, like a bag that I put menstrual products around my space. So any woman that comes around me, my siblings, and you can always.
I'm glad you had to specify your siblings, because I was beginning to wonder if you
no, any woman.
Okay.
So because why I say this is somebody may pop into your house and start bleeding. So there's always be. I think for me, I have all of them. Disposable, reusable, depends on what you use.
Wow.
So
anybody that
pops up. So whatever you want, come pick it. Then there are people, you may even if you have just disposable parts, it may not be what the person uses, but let the person just use this one first and move in. And I feel that that's a way to support, and also to have this conversation. Don't make it a shame. I ask men, can you go buy part for your mom, your sister, the women in your life? They say no. Some of them buy it, put it on that clothes, and these are common things that you should be able to buy. Now, it's also important how you treat the woman when she's on her period. So sometimes a woman gets thin on the road and you see grown men laughing over it. It shouldn't be so. So you're bringing shame to something that should not be shameful. So it's something that you should have this conversation, and you should support them. In fact, ask them. I also feel another thing is for you to ask them how you can help them. What can I do to help you? So, you know, maybe it's the time of the month, and then there should be warm water available, or help her with a heater or whatever it is. So it's a role of support that you can help them, and also do what I do, advocacy.
I think this is the most important aspect of this whole discussion, having this support from the men. It is the most important, because even when women go through that,
with the mood swing.
Even when they go through the mood swing and everything, if they have supportive partners or people around them, it just makes it easier for them.
It is.
So I think for me, this is the most important aspect of it.
Okay, so Nurse, can you just talk about the cycle too?
Okay, so when we're talking about the cycle, we're looking at the 4 phases. But I think the most important one, people look at it like the menstrual phase, like the actual part that the bleeding happens. So when the bleeding happens, a menstrual bleeding should be between 2 to 7 days. 2 to 7 days. Beyond 7 days is no more menstruation. And I feel that people should know this, because somebody will ask you, I've been bleeding for 14 days, 9 days, and the rest. I've been menstruating for 9 days. You don't menstruate for 9 days. You only menstruate maximum 7 days. Every other thing that comes after that is bleeding from the vagina. That could be due to whatever. So we now have the menstrual phase, which is the bleeding.
2 days is not also something one should worry about?
No, 2 days is the minimum.
Okay.
So it's you should be worried if it's one day.
A day.
In fact, we don't even call it menstruation, we just call it spotting.
Okay.
So we look for what could be the cause of the spotting. So there's the menstrual phase, then you move to the follicular phase. So the menstrual phase means that your body is pushing out the unfertilized egg and the womb that was prepared to take a pregnancy. So when pregnancy doesn't happen, it sheds. Then the egg comes up. Then the follicular phase comes next, where the whole process starts again. The ovary starts to get ready another egg, preparing for pregnancy. Then comes the ovulation, which most likely is the shortest part, when the egg breaks off, awaiting a sperm to fertilize it. So if fertilization happens at this stage, pregnancy occurs, menstruation stops. Then if it doesn't happen, we now go to the luteal phase. So at the luteal phase really has to do with the fact that the hormones that was prepping the body for pregnancy starts to lessen off. And when that happens, when that happens at that point, the lining of the uterus starts to break down, menstruation happens again. So that's why I think I should point this out, that menstruation is not possible during pregnancy. I think this is another misconception people hold. That menstruation cannot happen during pregnancy. You can't menstruate. So why this is so is that I've talked about the body prepping the womb for a baby. So when fertilization happens, which is pregnancy, the newly formed embryo goes to that lining that was prepared. The same lining that shades if there's no pregnancy, anchors there and start to grow into a baby.
So there's no way it can...
There's no way that lining can shed. Now, people, there can be cyclical bleeding during pregnancy due to so many different factors. Some known, some unknown, but it's not menstruation, because menstruation is the shedding of the lining of the uterus. If the lining of the uterus shed during pregnancy, miscarriage happens. Yeah. So yes, you can bleed during pregnancy, but don't call it menstruation.
So bleeding during pregnancy is not menstruation.
It's not menstruation, and it's also abnormal actually. Yes,
abnormal.
it's abnormal. Any form of bleeding during menstruation is abnormal. Please go get yourself during pregnancy. Sorry, go get yourself checked.
You know, I was thinking if there are initiatives or policies, you know, that could make you know, menstrual hygiene more, how would I put it now, like in the workplace. If there could be policies, you know, that people can, somebody will say waiting up on menstruation again, but these are things we need to think about. So I don't know if you have ever thought about it, if there could be policies or initiatives in workplaces that could help with menstrual hygiene. Yeah,
so I've thought about it. Some countries have already adopted it. So maybe giving women off for their menstrual days. Nigeria doesn't yet have such a policy in place. It's something that is currently being worked on. We had the first ever menstrual hygiene summit this year, early this year in Abuja. I was a part of it. I volunteered for it remotely, doing some advocacy on social media. So this is something that the stakeholders are having interaction about how to help. Not just about the workplace. You talked about access to this menstrual product. These are things that they're putting in place. But then for the workplace, like I usually say and I'll say again, oftentimes it's the men that are in key positions in workplace, oftentimes. And I feel that if these men don't know and appreciate what happens with menstruation, they can't raise good policies around it. So you come in and be like, I'm doing it, like, what is this one again? But then if you know this and you appreciate this, you can empathize with whosoever is going through the pain. So that's why we see it again and again. You come to work and maybe you tell your boss, and like, I'm not feeling too well. I might want to take it. I'm not staying back from work, but I might want to take it easy today. Like, because of what? So that is why we're having this advocacy, because if more people in authority, both men and women, by the way, if more people in authority get to know about this, maybe in their own personal space, before we have the policy, the national, the state policy, in their own space, maybe they could make it easier for women that are going through this process.
All right, especially those who have pains.
Yes.
So for those who can go through it
they can go
seamlessly, then it's not an issue.
You'll be surprised, even those that can go through it seamlessly.
If it comes, it should be for everybody.
It should be for everybody.
Yeah, whether you can go through the pain or not, it should be for everybody.
Okay. So I'm thinking, because I know there were times then, are there still places where people, when they are menstruating, they don't put on they don't use any material, they just stay secluded, you know, like talking about if you're menstruating, you're not supposed to go to church. Then you just sit somewhere, you know, you don't move.
So I've heard about it. I've heard about it again and again
really?
across religious organizations. There are places you can't climb the pulpit, pick a mic if you're menstruating, and the rest of them. I think I should point this out. You know, it actually happened, I think, a couple of years ago when Hilda Abasi was doing a cookathon.
Okay.
So when people realized midway that she was menstruating, if you went through her life feed, you see a whole lot of people bashing. Some people stop eating their food and the rest of them. So it happens. So as somebody from the BBO tribe, I know that my people, I think this is something I personally research on. In my tribe, they call menstruation a tea song. That's how they call it. So it literally translates to sitting on the floor. Because my forefathers believe that when a woman is menstruating, you sit on the floor, the ground absorbs the blood.
Oh,
That's what my forefathers did.
seriously?
Right, that's what they did. So,
Wow.
so that is how it's actually happening. So they're still called. We don't do it again. The people don't do it again, please. So, but
I'm
then
glad
there are
you put
still
that
culture.
out.
Maybe some part may still do it,
Okay.
but there are still cultures that do it. In fact, there are still churches that don't allow people to do it. There are people there are still husbands that don't allow their wives to cook for them. We're hoping that with more knowledge, with more advocacy, that everybody will get to actually know what it is. But for now, we just have to.
Okay,
allow
so
them.
but that's like you saying menstruation is not harmful
No, it's not harmful
in any way,
So
and shouldn't people, women during menstruation should not be segregated or something.
yeah, to an extent, I could feel their sentiment.
Okay.
I talked about hygiene. I could feel maybe their sentiment was that when a woman is menstruating,
If
she's not hygienic, she
can.
can smell, contaminate the food and the rest of the stuff. Maybe that was why. Like I look at my forefathers, they didn't have the product. So how do you control a woman that is bleeding? So I could understand them secluding her to one part and the rest. But I feel that I tell this when I go to communities, that there are no, this thing you're doing, it could have been, because the thing is that when people do tradition again and again, people stop asking questions why it was done.
Okay.
Right? So we see stories and stories again where people just do things because my forefathers did it. Why did they do it?
Nobody
So
knows.
maybe your forefathers did it because there was nothing they could use
Product, yeah.
then, so they just had to seclude them. Now you have the product. Convenient ones for that matter. So maybe it's time for us to have a
We need to
rethink
revisit those traditions.
all those traditions that
Especially
we were
going to the
keeping.
stream. I understand that of going to the stream because you might
Yeah,
put
because of
inside
the.
water.
But then if you use a tampon, if you use a cup, you can
absolutely,
go to the stream.
absolutely.
Okay, so let's go back to the cramps and the pains, extreme ones.
Okay.
What are those medications one can take? And you see, I've seen people who even throw up. People
During
who can't
periods.
even move, and
Those are extreme cases.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
for those extreme
In case, as a rule of
cases,
thumb, if whatever comes, if the menstrual, what we call the signs and symptoms of menstruation,
Okay.
makes you to stop having your activities of daily living, you can go about your stuff. There's a likelihood that it's not actually menstruation. So it could be something more severe.
okay.
Endometriosis could be a thing like this, and the rest of them. Go to the hospital. So if it stops your activity of daily living, don't just assume I want to take drugs. Go and get yourself checked out.
Now we're having this open conversation about menstrual hygiene and all that. So how can we normalize it? Because people still have that misconception that if you're menstruating, just
don't
keep
talk
quiet and
about
go
it.
through your phase. How can we encourage open conversation? Because people will not understand the impact of this if people don't speak out. So how do you encourage open conversation when it comes to menstruation?
So the best way to hold a conversation is to hold it. So
Okay.
talk about it.
Okay.
I would say that I've been, even coming from a family with female siblings, my mom is not open about conversations about menstruation. I remember when my last sister started menstruating, I told my mom, like, she's menstruating, like, hey, don't worry, she has sisters, there are products, she'll use it. So I'm like, go talk to her. So the thing is that it should start, it should end with us, if I should say, all those close conversations, all those stigma, all those shame should stop with me, and the open conversation should start with me. It's as simple as that. So I hope that if I do my bit, if I speak to the people in my network, my family, my friends, my relative, you speak to the people in your network, you speak to the people in your network, it will get better. It won't just, the conversation will not just be open all of a sudden, but slowly we'll find the need to be more open to it as we keep having this conversation. So bring it up in your family discussion, not just your daughters.
Even
Talk
the
to your
sons.
sons
Absolutely.
about it. Not just your daughters, talk to your sons about it. And I think the more men get to know about it, as a man, you can, as the one who mostly leads the society, leads the family and the rest, you can bring this conversation. If a man knows it, let's say maybe heads a village. So sometimes we go to the village and you realize that if you have the leader of the village that knows about this, it makes it easier to come into his village. It makes it easier to come into his organization and to share this knowledge. If it's somebody that doesn't care about it, you can't have that access. Absolutely. So bring in the men, bring in the women. Let's make, in churches, mosques, village councils, schools. Let's talk about this. When I was growing up, I used to see when they come, I think that was the best they could do then, years ago, when they come for these menstrual hygiene campaigns. If I go for a campaign, I go to some place and they're like, only girls. I'm like, why only girls? Now, if there are certain things, maybe if you're doing demonstration, you may keep only girls. But then if you're having this education, bring everybody in. Yeah, they will giggle, they will laugh. People only laugh at things at that very beginning. Once you have this conversation again and again with them, there's nothing to laugh about again.
Okay, so the other narrative or perspective now would be the women, the girls menstruating, the women menstruating. How do we encourage ourselves not to shy away from these things? I know it's just natural. You know, a lot of people shy away when they're
yeah, they do.
They don't want to.
Yeah, I tell a lady, let me help you buy a pad. I was like, no, you can't buy a pad for me. So you give somebody a pad and the person has to look around if there is somebody before they can get the pad. So I think that if they have the knowledge that is natural like every other, you can't run away from it. Every other natural process that happens to you. I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I also feel that it's also based on cultural expectation, societal expectation. So if the society do them well and they don't make them feel ashamed of what they are doing. So it is what you feel, it's what you experience. Be bold about it. Talk about it. Share it.
Absolutely. Talk about it, share it. It's you. All right. Thank you so much, Nurse Akwaowo Akpan, for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It has been an educative one. Eddie, we have to go. All right, so that's it, and that's all for today. I hope our conversation helped in normalizing the conversation around menstrual hygiene, because that's the most important. We need to speak it to be able to curb the stigmatization and the shyness that comes with menstruation. All right, so we'll come your way again some other time. Bye-bye for now.